You're not stuck. You're growing. Every successful person you've ever admired has gone through the exact phase you're going through right now. The phase where nothing feels clear. The phase where you're questioning everything. The phase where you wake up wondering if you're making progress or simply wasting your time. You look around and it feels like everyone else has their life figured out. Some people seem happy doing the same things they've always done. Others seem to be moving ahead faster than you. And then there's you, stuck somewhere in the middle, not where you used to be, not yet where you want to be, just in between. And if you're being honest, that in-between stage can feel incredibly lonely, because the people you've known for years may no longer understand you. The conversations that once excited you don't excite you anymore. The goals that motivate you sound strange to the people around you. The things you're sacrificing don't make sense to those who aren't pursuing the same vision. And because of that, you begin asking yourself difficult questions. Am I changing too much? Am I becoming selfish? Why do I feel disconnected from everyone? What if all this effort leads nowhere? These questions are normal. In fact, they're often signs that you're moving in the right direction. Most people assume growth feels exciting. Sometimes it does. But more often, growth feels confusing. Growth feels like uncertainty. Growth feels like doubt. Growth feels like leaving behind an old version of yourself before you fully become the new one. Think about it. Every meaningful transformation in life involves a period where things don't make sense. When a seed grows into a tree, there is a stage where it completely breaks apart underground before anything visible appears above the surface. The same thing happens with people. There are seasons of your life where it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, everything is changing. Your thinking is changing, your standards are changing, your habits are changing, your identity is changing. And because those changes aren't immediately visible, you convince yourself that you're stuck. You're not. You're simply in a chapter that doesn't provide immediate rewards. One of the biggest mistakes people make during this phase is comparing their behind-the-scenes struggle to someone else's highlight reel. You see people celebrating wins. You see announcements, promotions, achievements, vacations, milestones. What you don't see are the years of uncertainty that came before those moments. You don't see the nights they questioned themselves. You don't see the sacrifices. You don't see the loneliness. You don't see the countless moments where they almost gave up. Success has a funny way of hiding the struggle that created it. But every successful person carries stories of seasons where they felt lost. Seasons where they doubted themselves. Seasons where nobody believed in them. Seasons where progress felt invisible. That's not a flaw in the process. That is the process. Another reason this phase feels difficult is because you're caught between two worlds. Your old life is becoming too small for you, but your new life hasn't fully arrived yet. You no longer fit where you used to belong, but you haven't yet reached the place you're trying to go. That creates tension, and many people mistake that tension for failure. It's not failure, it's transition, and transitions are uncomfortable. Think about any major change in life. Moving to a new city, starting a business, changing careers, building a new identity. Every transition creates a temporary period of uncertainty. The old foundation disappears before the new one feels solid. And during that gap, it's easy to panic. It's easy to think you're moving backward. But often, you're simply building something that takes time. The people who eventually succeed are not necessarily the smartest. They're not always the most talented. They're the ones who learn how to survive this phase without quitting. Because quitting is most tempting right before progress becomes visible. That's why persistence matters so much. Not because persistence guarantees immediate success, but because persistence keeps you in the game long enough for growth to compound. Most breakthroughs don't happen because someone found a secret shortcut. They happen because someone stayed committed when nothing seemed to be working. They kept showing up, they kept learning, they kept improving. They kept believing when there was little evidence to justify that belief. And eventually, the results arrived. Not overnight, but gradually. The truth is, you're probably much closer than you think. The problem is that growth feels slow when you're living it. You only recognize how far you've come when you look backward. So stop asking yourself whether you're moving fast enough. Ask yourself a better question. Am I becoming the person capable of handling the future I want? Because that's what this phase is really about. It's not just building results, it's building you. The discipline, the patience, the resilience, the emotional strength, the self-belief, the character. Those qualities are being developed right now. And one day you'll realize that this difficult season wasn't delaying your success, it was preparing you for it. So if you're feeling stuck, uncertain, lonely, or misunderstood, remember this. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not falling behind. You are simply experiencing what growth feels like before the rewards become visible. Keep going. Keep learning. Keep building. Keep trusting the process. The habits that brought you this far are the same habits that will take you further. And one day you'll look back on this chapter and realize it wasn't the season that stopped you. It was the season that transformed you.